Well, Wigan are deservingly at the top of the table, Mark. They've only lost twice since October. They've had that level of consistency you need to be right in the thick of things.
They have, and they've got a lot of ways of winning games as well. I think that's one of the impressive things is how they've adapted their style throughout the games to find different ways of winning games when they haven't played so well, running away with games when they have. The consistency of their results is great. Obviously, unbeaten in 9, and I think they're second best in the league for goals scored and goals against. It reminds me of last year. When you're at the top of the league, you're probably top of most statistical tables as well for the obvious reasons. So certainly in a really good position at the moment. I went to Burton on Tuesday and watched them in the game there. So that was good to see them live, if you like, and obviously do our normal work in preparation for the game. But there's no doubt, I think they're on for the title. They're charging towards it, and it's more a case of when they seal that rather than if they seal it. They've built themselves a really good cushion, and they're in the position they're expected to be. There's plenty of teams in the league that aren't, but they certainly are, and they've shown remarkable consistency. They're deserving of the top positions and deserve the title as and when it comes their way.
Yeah, as we've said before, having a blend to your play in League One is especially useful because the variety of challenges that you face on a week-by-week basis, they really do vary.
They do, yeah, and I think in the construction of their squad, you look through the spine of their team, you look at the recruitment they made in January. They've got some key players missing at the moment, but the team doesn't get weaker, really. They've got such strength in depth. Very experienced team, lots of players that have played at this level or the level above. And they've invested the money that they've had this year very well after a few difficult years. They found themselves in this league somewhat unfairly, really, not down to performances on the pitch, and deservingly are going to go back to the level they should be playing at.
Now, they've only lost 6 games all season and actually only beaten by 4 different sides because Sunderland and Sheffield Wednesday have beaten them twice. Really, you guys should have been on that list as well. Came ever so close back in the game at the Abbey.
Yeah, and we played well as well. But you know that what happened that night. You know, coming from behind, a lot of late goals. They've done that all season. It's another reason why they are where they are. So yeah, we did come close and we played well. It was a good evening. That was on my birthday. That one this season. So the outcome wasn't what we wanted, or maybe what we deserved, but they showed their quality as the game went on and got the point from the game, which I'm sure the position they found themselves in, they'd have taken at the start. Albeit any time the top teams play us, they'd expect to beat us, and I guess rightly so. You know, it's a bit like I've talked about this league of 2 leagues and our mentality going against the top half teams, and I guess the reverse is that we say any points we get are a bonus, and I'm pretty sure they would say any points that they drop is not what they need to be doing, certainly at this stage of the season. So we know what the odds are in the game. We did come close against them last time. It's a really exciting one to look forward to. I think when you've got so few games left, certainly in the case of the 2 away games, they're really exciting games and occasions to take part in. And we also know, being in a similar position to them last season, that the last throws of the season can throw up your best performances or random games that are just unexplainable in lots of ways. So there's going to be plenty of drama, I think, over Easter weekend. It's usually a pivotal weekend for us to be in the position we are at Easter going into it. Maybe playing a part in the drama, but not being directly affected by it is a terrific position to be in. And the fact that this game's on the telly as well gives us another experience to try and overcome and look forward to.
Let's take a look at the team news. So George Williams last weekend, bit of fatigue, bit of illness, been struggling with a slight injury as well. Is he going to be available for Saturday?
Yeah, he's trained this week. He's out today on the grass. It's his birthday today, so he'll be good to go. I'm sure he's probably going to benefit from the rest. So I hope he's available for the weekend. But he should take full part in training today and be available for the games that we've got left.
With Sam Shering, he picked up an injury during the game. How's he looking?
Yeah, not as well. He had a scan on, I think it was Monday, straight away, as soon as we could get one. It didn't return very well for him. So he's got a specialist appointment next week. So he'll certainly miss the next 2 games. It may see the end of his season in the fact that it's only 2.5 weeks, really. It might mean that he's not back for that. But until we get past the Charlton game on Tuesday, which is when his specialist appointment is, back end of next week, we should have an idea if he's going to play any part in the Sunderland and Cheltenham games. But obviously certainly miss him for the next 2.
Yeah, so frustrating for him. But overall, during his loan stay, have you been pleased with him?
Yeah, I think he's done really well. I think he's had a really good spell. I think certainly in the early part contributed to a lot of results and clean sheets. Statistically turns out quite well in a lot of games. Terrific character around the place and has settled in really well. So it's been an excellent loan for him and he's done really well for us. So yeah, really pleased with that. And I hope he can get back on the pitch before the end of the season, because it is disappointing for him to end it like that. You want to end it fit and playing well. So hopefully he can do that, but we'll see where we are next week.
And with Liam O'Neill, is he still ticking over, getting any closer?
Yeah, he trained yesterday. He'll train again today. We changed the week a little bit this week in terms of how it worked. So he's putting the days together on the grass this week. So all goes well for the rest of this week. He'll be available at some point over the weekend as well.
Just talk us through your thinking with the changes, because you mentioned it after the game on Saturday, working in blocks. If I were a football manager being completely uninitiated, I'd probably sprinkle my changes through the team, but you've been doing them in blocks. Just talk us through the thinking there.
Yeah, I mean, there's no scientific formula here. It's like what's right and what's wrong. We played at Ipswich with a team that did exceptionally well, and the three players behind the striker were shot really physically. It was going to be very difficult for them to go and do that again in the next game. So we just gave an opportunity to three others in those positions and therefore didn't want to make too many other changes. A really settled back four and midfield two that had played previously and kept clean sheets. We didn't want to disrupt that unit of the team against Wycombe, who are such a big, powerful team. So it was more about the best way of getting some freshness in the team, giving some an opportunity, but not disrupting the team too much against another really powerful and dominant team. And then when we got to the weekend, we saw that as an opportunity to make a few more changes really, but I just didn't want to have multiple changes through every unit of the team, because if you do that, it creates a few too many issues. And obviously we wanted Jack to get some game time. Sam Sherring deserved a little bit. Liam Bennett was deserving of that anyway, but Willow had had some issues. So three changes in the back four. We therefore didn't want to change the goalkeeper. We therefore didn't really want to disrupt what was in front of that and make too many other changes throughout the team. And I think the balancing act that we have to strike over the next four games is try and make sure everybody plays at some point, try and have a look at one or two different things in the games, but also not disrupt it too much if we can help it. But we've given ourselves a bit of a free hit that, being honest, I can pick any team I want for the next four games, and the consequences of it aren't as big as they may have been in the previous game. But at the same time, there's not a chance that we want to pick a team or the players want to go on the pitch and not win. So we'll try and find that balance as we go through. It's very likely that the majority of players will play in one of the two games this weekend, and then we'll see where we go for the remaining two.
Yeah, and it plays into the identity thing as well, in that if you've got that clear identity, and goodness knows when you've got through to April, that sense of what you want to do this season is pretty clearly there. You can actually then move the players in and out more easily.
Yeah, we have a fairly good identity in lots of ways, and then probably out of possession, and then in possession, depending on who plays, dictates a little bit what that looks like. And depending on who you play against, depends on what they allow that to look like. So that can change a little bit, which is why you have to have that flexibility in being able to change your squad around a little bit, but also being able to adapt in game and from one game to the next. I think we can put the same 11 on the pitch and adjust to the opposition that we're playing against. And we're fairly pragmatic in that. You can look at the top teams in this league with the best players, the best depth and the best qualities that have a very, very set identity, and you won't see them really do too much else. They'll play what they play, and they back themselves to be better than the opposition. And we have an element of that in us, but we also have an idea that if we have to change for somebody, we will, because philosophy and identity is important, but results are what we're here for.
And just to finish, find a couple of grand for events after the end of the Ipswich game the other day. Is there anything that you want to look at or take forward from that, or do you just put it down to the cut and thrust of a competitive game?
Yeah, no, we certainly want to peel it, because it'll only send the money to go higher. It does, to me, seem like an extortionate amount of money for an element of nothing really after the game. A really competitive game and an incredible atmosphere where the intensity of the home team towards the end, because they felt they had a goal wrongly disallowed, which proved not to be the case. The only wrongly disallowed goal in that one was ours in the first half. there was just a explosion of emotion at full time. One team delighted, one team frustrated. Everyone shouts at everybody for 5 seconds on the halfway line, disappears and celebrates or moans in the dressing room afterwards. That's football. And yeah, look, you don't want to see unsavoury scenes. You don't want ill discipline. You don't want a lack of respect in certain things. But we have to be reality. This is competition. And if you people have an argument on a football pitch, it's hardly too dramatic. But the FA will enjoy their end of season with £5,000 in the pot, I'm sure.
Oh, that's great for me.
Hi, Mark.
Hey, Clive, you're on.
I'm on. Nice to see you again. You can hear me as well.
Yeah.
I just wondered on Saturday, how much does it affect preparation being at 5:15 and on Sky? Is it something that you look forward to being on the telly? Is it different?
Yeah, I mean, look, you can't count the benefits of being on the TV. I'm sure we'll want to show ourselves in a good light. The players will want to show themselves in a good light, and we'll want to show ourselves as a good team and individually good players on that platform and on that stage. We've obviously had the red button game with Luton on BBC. We've had plenty of TV coverage, if you like, from the Newcastle game, but the actual live on Sky game hasn't happened for a long time. So it's a bit of a different experience, firstly. Secondly, it's quite costly financially because the reality of the situation is we have to shift the Bank Holiday Monday game to a Tuesday, which therefore is going to impact our crowd and income on the day by quite a lot. We travel, but 5:15 kickoff means we need a late checkout in the hotel, which pretty much doubles the cost of your accommodation. And the £10,000 we get for being on Sky is probably 50 or 60% of that is eaten up by actually getting there and preparing how we want to, plus the benefits that come after that. So economically, it's not very good. But you can say that that's the measurable stuff. The immeasurable stuff is what comes off the next bit. And the reality of the situation is Sky and the Premier League put the majority of funding down to the EFL and everybody else. So we're beholden to them anyway. And whilst it might cost us a few £1,000s this weekend, the hundreds of thousands of pounds we benefit from them in the bigger picture is obviously far more important. It being a 5:15 kickoff is different. It's just a longer day, I think. We'll finish training today and it will seem a long time until the game kicks off. We'll travel tomorrow, use the gym and pool facilities at the hotel. Hoping for a good day on the roads on what is notoriously the worst day of the year on the roads, Good Friday, and then have a long day waiting around. But we'll try and fix the time up a little bit. It's I remember going to Newport last year and having to kick off at 12 o'clock or something. I think it was, I think there was a royal occasion or something that meant the game had to kick off earlier. So it's just those different scenarios you get thrown. I mean, at the top level of football, you see games played at different times, different days all the time. So if players have aspirations to get there, they need to show that they can handle that few days, that few hours extra and adjust their preparation to be ready for the game. As an event, it shouldn't really change anything. We're going to play a top team in a nice stadium with all the expectation and pressure on them and see if we can. I said a couple of weeks ago when we had 7 games left, we have 3 monster away games. I said it'd be lovely if we could get us a surprise result in them 3. Well, we got one. So we'd love to try and get another one somewhere if we could in the next 2 away games. So let's see whether it brings the best out of us or not. But certainly one I think that the players are excited about.
Yeah, you're in League One next season. Congratulations on that. That was the objective, obviously. And you've got 3 ex-Premier League clubs in the next 4 games. Is it a case now you can go and enjoy and maybe express yourselves a bit more, knowing that that pressure is off?
Well, the good thing about the team is I don't think we've ever played like a team under huge pressure. I think that's credit to the players and the staff for that environment that we've created that we sort of haven't been. I think also we've never been in the bottom 6. So therefore, by definition, we've never had huge runs of bad results or real pressure building over our shoulders and really being nervous in that sense. And we're quite stable. So there's always been an element of freedom. It depends what you mean by freedom. If freedom translates itself into not working as hard, not pressing as hard, not running as much, opening the pitch up and thinking we can be an expansive football team, that would just be nonsense because that's not what we are. So the only way I want it to be is a confidence that we play with, but we've got to play like us, and we've got to play like a good version of us. Otherwise, we know what happens against the best teams. So I think, we play three games against ex-Premier League clubs, but we're 3 wins in 4. And I think in this league, there's about 8 ex-Premier League clubs, and we've had some good results against some this year and some bad ones. And I guess that's reflective of a 46-game season when you're in the level we are in comparison to a lot of those. But they're games to cherish and look forward to. And I guess it prevents us having that slow flip-flops on vibe into the summer, because the players know we've got games where we're going to have to be good. So I'm looking forward to seeing them approach that challenge in the right way.
Yeah, just finally, it's been such a full-on season for you. You're in the moment as a manager all the time, aren't you? When will you reflect on the fact it's been a fantastic season for Cambridge United?
Well, the best periods of reflection and creativity come when you're not here. So that will be a nice period for a couple of weeks in the off season. The reflection and analysis is an ongoing thing, and we have spent the whole day. The players had a few days off, and the staff have been in. I mean, we've spent hours this week looking at things from the season, planning for next season. We've got some huge projects. All the academy staff have been involved in that. We've used the whole workforce really to help us analyse lots of bits and pieces and study videos, study statistics and data. So those reflections go on all the time. My reflections are always on what have we done well, what can we do better, and how do we build a better team next year? That's it. Everybody else can pat us on the back and talk about it being good. Anyone else in the club can say it's been a great year. I'll just work on trying to be better, because if we don't work on trying to be better, things can turn very quickly. So yes, we've had some success, but we weren't setting out to do anything other than that. That's not being dismissive of it. I think we've done great. I think the players have been superb. And we shouldn't underestimate the scale of the achievements this year, because just like we shouldn't underestimate the scale of last year's achievement, it's been 2 fantastic seasons on the pitch where statistically we've overperformed and outperformed everybody's expectation. But there's no desire whatsoever for that to stop.
Okay, thank you very much. Good luck. Good luck on Saturday and next Tuesday, and well done so far.
Thanks.
Right, just a really quick one. Sam Sherring's injury, what is that?
Something in his hip and groin, mate. You're definitely not speaking to an expert here. So the hip groin area, but any more than that, we'll wait until the experts speak about it.
Okay, that's great. Thanks.